Yeah, let's put the countdown timer on. Well, hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. I'm Andrew Jenkins. And this is a quick, short countdown timer to help the various feeds catch up and settle down. And you know how IT is up and down and stuff. We're never quite sure whether we go live or not. But we're live, baby. And yes, we're back again from last week's Leaders Live. Leaders Live is back after a couple of months break for Sarah and I to move house, move location and get settled into our new place, and we're loving it here down in North Devon. So that's where we are right now, and we're hanging out today with visionary Phil Herridge, sales automation specialist and CEO of Semper Paratus Group, and we are so excited, and it's great to see the feeds come up. That's always a relief when the feed comes up. Brilliant. Good morning, Kathy. And yeah, Semper Paratus, prepare for all things. How about that? And I love that. I love Phil's attitude to being prepared. Brilliant. And our theme today is unlocking sales using the power of artificial intelligence automation, AI automation. How about that then? Give us a quick wave, Phil. There we go. And Mrs. Moderator herself, Sarah Jenkins. How you doing, Sarah? All right?
Good morning, doing really well, thank you. Looking forward to this one today.
And me. And 130-second show, folks. So with Sarah, Phil, me, and that's today's team. Wow. Didn't go, wow. There we go. Well, boom, there we go. Oi, oi, people and hi, gang, it's Leaders Live. Showtime, folks, and hurrah and huzzah. I love that. It's just after 8:45 a.m. here in the UK, folks, and we are live. I'm just trying to get the feed to come up, and it's not coming up for me, but I'll get it in a minute. And so we're back once again, live. Leaders Live, spreading the love, folks, spreading the love. Yabba dabba do. And I think that deserves it. Oh. So I hope you enjoyed that groovy opener as well, gang. And this week we're delighted that we're being powered by Marketing CX, this week's sponsor. And look at who's sponsoring us each week, folks. And oh, please let us know if our audio is coming through okay as well. And quick, let's bring a quick change of scene in. So if you're new to Leaders Live, a warm welcome to you. That's not the scene I wanted, it was this one. Bing, there's our subscribe bell, so please subscribe to us, and that will be fantastic. And Leaders Live is a weekly dynamic talk show that generates business through networking, through community, and through extraordinary conversations, folks. And we're here to inspire you. And for all your regulars, welcome back again after our break from moving house. So excited to be back once again. And if you're new to the show, I'm Andrew Jenkins, as I said in the introduction, and I host this interactive weekly live stream show called Leaders Live. It's built an awesome community of like-minded leaders. And so please don't be shy. We'd love you to introduce yourself as you're doing already. Brilliant to see you in the feed, everybody. Introduce yourselves, join in and interact with the comments, folks, and chat and ask questions too as we go along. And we've got 3 simple rules, and that is a safe community, mutual respect, and no selling in the room, please. Although we're talking about sales today. And our motto today is I to the power of we, folks. And a really easy way, excuse me a minute, a really easy way that you can show support for this free show and all the time and effort that we put into it is you can buymeacoffee.com. It's a link that looks a little bit like this. Let me just send a little test to the screen. There we go. Brilliant. And thank you to Kieran for last week's 5 coffees in a row. So 5 coffees is a free coaching session. So, and all proceeds from Buy Me a Coffee go into the show. But it's great to get a coffee and to be appreciated. So you can buy me a coffee if you want. So, and we love it when that happens. And smash those likes as well too, folks. We really appreciate that. That keeps us motivated. So phew, put it all together. What have you got? Bibbidi, bibbidi, poppity poo. And you might be singing that song all day. And let's bring in the side-by-side scene now then. Here we go. How you doing, Phil? All right?
Thank you. Very good, yes.
Brilliant. Great to have you on the show this morning. Our hangout guest, Phil Herridge from Semper Paratus Group. Latin for all things. Be prepared for all things is the Latin translation for that, I understand, Phil. Is that correct?
Yeah, always ready. Yeah.
Always ready. There we go. Always ready. And our theme today is unlocking sales using the power of AI automation. And we're going to get to Phil's story in a mo. But briefly, just tell us briefly, where are we heading today, Phil? What's our direction of travel? Take it away for us.
So we're going to be talking today about sales, how it can be automated, and obviously now with the growth of AI, how people can automate those usual mundane tasks and make themselves more productive with their time, and hopefully more profitable as salespeople and business owners as well.
Brilliant. Hooray! Thank you very much. Whoever's bought me a coffee, someone's bought me a coffee. Thank you very much. Normally the email address comes up there, but it didn't today. But whoever you are, thank you very much. I love that. Brilliant. Oh, great. Okay, so thanks for that. And you've also got an audience question for us as well, Phil, I understand.
I have indeed. Let me just pull it up to make sure I get it right.
Yeah, no problem.
So the question for the audience is, what specific sales challenges do you face, and how would solving these challenges with AI affect and benefit your business?
Brilliant. Okay, and we'll have that in the feed in a moment. So what specific sales challenges do you face at the moment, and how would solving these challenges have an impact on your business? How would that be? So there we go. And hopefully that'll be in the feed shortly if it's not there already. And there's a delay in the feed, so we pick up the interactions in the chat comments feed shortly. And while we wait for those comments to catch up, let's get to Mrs. Moderator. How are you doing, Sarah?
I'm doing really well, thank you. Anita,
Brilliant.
in answer to your question, how is the fridge? We won't go there. Not fixed is the quick answer, but there we go.
We had Fridge Guy last week who turned up while we were going live, as happens, and Anita was our hangout guest at that point. It's live, baby. That's what happens.
I think today's topic's really striking a chord with people very much. So
brilliant.
Kathy Heath has got AI plans for Healthy Minds Club.
There we go. All good. There we go. Hi, Kathy.
Let's have a look. Who else? Laurie. Yeah, Laurie. She's doing a deep and a major proposal using AI to help.
Nice.
So yeah, nice to see you on, Stuart. Alex Powell. There's a name I don't recognise.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Alex.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And Matthew Harding. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be a good one today.
It's going to be a good one. Yeah, Matthew Harding. Here he is. Yep. Thank you, Matthew. Yeah, it's lovely to see all these people joining on, and Stuart and others. I haven't got Laurie's comment yet. Oh yeah, here it is. Here's Laurie. So her name hasn't come through yet. So today's topic particularly timely. Yeah, thank you. Brilliant. Okie dokie. And hello to Stuart as well. Stuart says having time and discipline. Is that right, Sarah?
Yeah, having time and discipline for consistent and timely follow-ups.
There you go. That's an answer to Phil's question. So yes. Brilliant. Anything else coming in?
Alex Powell, I'm a baby and child sleep consultant, so keen to get more insight on how AI can help me reach more tired families.
Nice. Yeah, I saw your profile the other day, Alex. Yeah, that caught my eye, that baby and child sleep consultant. Very interesting. Yeah. One of your mates, Phil?
Could be. Yeah. I think I recognize that name. Yeah.
Lovely.
And I think anyone that's got kids probably needs to speak to Alex.
There you go. There's a quick shout out for you. Anyone got kids? Speak to Alex. There you go. Shout out for Alex Powell. Brilliant.
Yeah, Laurie's answered the question as well. Sales challenges are one. I do business with the US government. It's not easy. The sales cycle is long and sometimes complicated. AI helps me become an expert in some areas where I'm not necessarily one.
Yeah. I agree with that, yeah.
Brilliant. Phil, give us some comments on that. What comes to mind for you here?
Yeah, do you know what? Every question that should come up then is exactly what it is we fix without trying to jump into it as a sales pitch. But one of the things that when I started, a little bit of background first of all, I've 30 years. And the reason I set up Semper Paratus Group is because I always knew there was a better way of doing things. I just didn't have the time in my day to actually work out what that fix was. What I've managed to create, though, is something that's quite rare. It injects time back into my and my client's day. It's one of the things we said we can never get back is time. But by using AI and using automation, what it does do is give us that time back in the day to do other things. Someone mentioned about following up effectively or having the time to follow up effectively. By using AI to do all those mundane tasks, it gives you that time back to do those follow-ups, to spend time with your family, to get more sleep. Everything can be fixed with AI.
Yeah, all of those things, great, and particularly for Alex with baby care, she says, "Hell yeah." Okay, So, Sarah, what's good? There's loads going on in the feed. Let's see if we can pick up any more stuff on the feed.
Yeah, some of the answers. So Anita would like to know how to use AI so she can free up some time so she can write more courses.
Oh, there we go. Well, we'll come on to that in a moment. Anything else?
Yeah, James Fenton, using AI to reach prospects to build relationships without coming across too salesy.
That's a really good. Yeah, we need to explore that. Thanks,
Yeah,
James.
and Kieran's is very pertinent. Using AI automation to still sound like a human and not your brand by spamming, bottling prospects and followers.
Yeah, all those bots. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay. Any thoughts on those comments? There's some themes coming through there, Phil.
Yeah, again, going back to what I do, I've taken what I used to do manually 16 years ago when I started using LinkedIn, and we've just tried to keep that human element to it. So we use the AI for opening up as many doors as possible, and then the human person steps in then to have that human conversation and get that person over the line into a meeting. So yeah, it's all about using AI, as I said, to do those mundane tasks and freeing you up to do more of the human stuff.
Yeah, and not to sound too pushy or anything like that as well with the AI, and yeah,
there's a lot of people still think they're selling cars in the 1980s when they're doing sales, and that's not the case. It's about providing a service and explaining concisely and efficiently and effectively how that service is going to benefit them. It's not
I like that.
Second-hand car sales push.
Yeah, explaining efficiently and effectively without too much of a sales push. I like that. We'll come back onto that as well. So, tell us a bit about yourself, Phil, and your own story. How did you get into developing a sales process, an automated sales process using AI? Tell us a bit about that story.
I was brought up in a small village shop in North Wales, and it wasn't until literally a few months ago that the penny dropped that I'd been selling all my life. So it was no surprise. Well, it was a surprise because I didn't realise until recently, but it was it should have been no shock that I'd gone into sales, because from the age of 3 years old, I was behind a till serving and selling to people
Wow.
some another. So pretty much straight from school, I went straight into sales. My first proper sales job was working for Ginster's Pies, which most people recognise them from going up and down the motorways.
Yes.
That was my first taste in getting into sales. I've had exposure to various different types of selling: FMCG, technology, telecoms, recruitment, you name it. I've probably had some type of exposure or experience to that type of selling. But Semper Paratus Group itself was genuinely formed by accident. I didn't set out to create and set up my own business. Yeah. What I was creating in December of 2018 was a sales process that would allow me to be more effective, be more productive, but more importantly, be more profitable as a salesperson. Most salespeople are like water. We look for the easiest way out, and that for me is not a bad thing. Why make a job harder when you can make it easier? So Christmas of 2018, I sat down and I deconstructed the sales process and then rebuilt it from the ground up using automation and AI where possible to take care of those day-to-day mundane tasks, so I could spend more time doing more of the important things, closing more deals, but also spending more time with my family as well. Because for so many years I've been working 12-hour days in sales and not spending that time with the family. And that's what it's great. That's what Semper Paratus does. It gives you that work-life balance. It allows you to reach out and open the doors to more sales opportunities, but also have that ability to have that work-life balance and spend more time, quality time with the family as well.
Yeah, and so giving time back and knowing where your time is importantly spent, and spending that time building memories with your family and letting your sales sort themselves out, and that's a great motivation for automated sales process, I guess, Phil.
Yeah,
obviously.
There's no point going out and making all the commission and all the sales and getting generated if you're not going to be able to enjoy that with the ones you love.
Interesting, yeah. And in terms of 2018, you said, so was it AI around at that point, or what were you using then compared to what you're doing now?
Yeah, so my vision for the business, nearly 6 years ago, wasn't the technology wasn't there to support it. Okay. So what I did is I went out and I pulled all the automation I could for the individual processes and stuck them together with a bit of sellotape using. So they're all literally stuck together with sellotape. It's not until I would say the last 6 months where it's really coming to its own. Yes, ChatGPT AI was around 5-6 years ago, but it wasn't robust enough to support what I needed it to do. If you go back 2 years when ChatGPT came along, that changed the landscape for everything. But still, months ago, ChatGPT wasn't good enough. It was still making, and it still does to a certain degree, or not as much. It was still making simple errors, even in simple arithmetic. I was doing some documents, and it was doing the calculations, and every single time it was £20,000 out on the calculation. It kept apologising and making the same mistakes. But I would say over the last 2 to 3 months that the technology has at last caught up with where the vision was for my business in 2018, 2019.
And that's where it gets interesting, isn't it, Phil? So actually in the last 6 months, but particularly the last 2 or 3 months, actually it's starting to mature and become a really serious player here.
Definitely.
Right. And what would you say would be the biggest difference that you're noticing now with the technology?
I would say that the simple things. So if we go back a year ago when I was trying to create content for posts online, when you got ChatGPT or any of the AI tools to create content, it didn't flow. It just jumped everywhere. It looked great. It created a 2-page document in a matter of seconds, but it just didn't flow naturally like a human person had written. It was all over the place. And you spend another hour or two then going and tidying it up. Now, the flow of the conversation, the flow of the content is a lot better. Yes, you do have to check over it just to make sure that it's right and the tonality is right, it's not making mistakes. But it's now a 15, 20-minute job to review something and edit the changes, as opposed to a 2-hour job to completely restructure the content that it created in the first place.
Yeah, and you mentioned all those pieces of technology you had to glue together with sort of virtual sellotape. Is that still the case, or has AI sort of come on so well now that a single system will do it, or the integration between systems is easier for you?
I would say the latter. The AI has definitely come on, so it makes the flow a lot better. It makes the integration a lot easier. We still have other integrations as well. So when somebody signs up for a meeting, we have a Zapier connection that automatically adds them to a CRM solution. But in terms of the flow, the AI just means now there's a single platform that does 2 or 3 different jobs within automated outreach all in one place.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm with you. And tell us a little bit about your automated process, Phil. What's the workflow process and how you've developed it? I'm sure our users will be our listeners will be really interested in how specifically you use that AI as a process. And you also use it within LinkedIn as well.
Correct, yeah. So the process that I had in terms of on day one when we set up was LinkedIn first.
Okay.
If LinkedIn didn't work, then we do an email campaign. If email didn't work, then we do a telesales and a cold call campaign. Okay. Very quickly, I noticed that we weren't needing or having the time to do the old-fashioned cold call because we're generating that many warm phone calls from the LinkedIn stuff. Very quickly after that, when I perfected the LinkedIn process, I found that email wasn't necessarily needed either. Email has never generated or yielded the greatest results. It's all, it did maybe on the first couple of years with email marketing, but it's never been a superior lead generation process. With LinkedIn, we see an average of 50%, usually a little bit more, maybe 60% acceptance rate. Some of our clients are getting 98% acceptance rates, and nearly every single invite they send out works. But on the whole, we normally see an average of about 50% acceptance rates.
Wow. Yeah.
However, now, instead of the email doesn't have to be a separate manual process. It's now with AI. If the LinkedIn process doesn't work, then it will automatically flip over and send those people an email. And the email addresses we've got within the platform, you can get 5,000 publicly available business email addresses per month. And because they're business email addresses, and because they're publicly available, and because you've got a legitimate reason for contacting them, it does make it a GDPR compliant email. So it just sends it over. But everything we do, and this is the crucial part here, is a warm outreach. We don't do any cold outreaches. Within the LinkedIn process, we make sure it's a warm outreach. That leads onto the email, which makes sure it's a warm outreach. And if we did need to do a cold call afterwards, it kind of be a semi-warm phone call, because you'd be saying, hi, I tried to reach out to you recently on LinkedIn and email. Appreciate you're probably busy. Just wanted to go old school and do a quick phone call to you. But to be quite honest, my diary and my clients' diaries are actually that full of meetings anyway through LinkedIn and email. The cold call element is not needed anymore.
It's not needed. Oh, great. And great to hear you say that LinkedIn is your primary source of warm lead generation. What do you mean by warm lead? Just in case people are thinking, what does that mean?
What we want to do is we want to make sure the outreach we send to people isn't stone cold. We want to add some humanity to it and some type of connection in there. So wherever possible, and this is like 80-90% of the time with the majority of our clients, we won't reach out to third-degree connections on LinkedIn, because that's like walking up to a stranger in the street and saying, hi, please be my friend and spend some money with my company. What we do is we target second-degree connections, so there's mutual connection in common. We also target people who have posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days, so you know they're active on LinkedIn. We can even go one step further than that and just target people who have got paid accounts on LinkedIn. Because if you've got a free account and you're not paying anything for it, you're probably not regularly visiting your LinkedIn account. There are people, and I see this every year, that literally just log into LinkedIn at Christmas time when they're off. They accept the 50 or 100 invites they've had over a year, and then you won't see them again for another 12 months. So by targeting these people, by using LinkedIn, specifically LinkedIn Sales Navigator, in a professional and grown-up manner, you can make sure that you're identifying the people that you can help most, because those are people to speak to. You can identify the people who've got mutual connections, sort of warm outreach. You can identify people who've actually posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days, so you know they're active on LinkedIn. So that means that it's a warm outreach because you've got something warm to talk about. I insert first name. I see we've got mutual connections. I looked at your recent post, and the outreach is warm. But it also means you're going to get higher acceptance rate as well. And the higher acceptance rate on LinkedIn is important for two reasons. First of all, because the more people accept your invite, the more people you can be able to speak to. But secondly, it helps improve your social selling index score. And your SSI score on LinkedIn basically tells LinkedIn how good of a LinkedIn user you are. The better you score, the more of LinkedIn you're able to unlock, and the more outreaches you're able to do on a daily basis.
Brilliant. Yeah, so that's a huge amount just in that flow of conversation. Thank you. Amazing. And just on the SSI score, I want to come back to second connections in a moment, but SSI score, what is a good SSI score for people? Just because this is often asked about.
So let me go one step further than that, just for people listening as well. So every time I mention SSI score, I say every time, 60-40 split in terms of people not knowing what an SSI score is. So if you want to look at your SSI score on LinkedIn, I think you do need a premium version. So you need to go to linkedin.com/sales/SSI, and that will show you your score. A poor score is anything below 65. A good score is anything above it.
Got it. That's useful.
All of our clients will have a score after the first 4 to 8 weeks of working with us. No matter how bad it was before, we will get them into the early 70s, and that's where we want to see people. Early to mid 70s as a bare minimum.
Got it. Okay, really good. So there's a useful hint for you. Go and have a look at your SSI score on LinkedIn. What was the link again, Phil, just so that people can grab it?
linkedin.com/sales/SSI.
Yeah. And for those of you that haven't got a premium account, if you're in business and you're serious about it, get yourself a premium account, I think you're saying, Phil?
Yeah. So for me, even though the software works on a premium version of LinkedIn, I personally won't work with anybody that hasn't got Sales Navigator. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is the only way on LinkedIn to create that laser-focused approach to find your dream clients. Anything else is just a spray and pray approach to lead generation, and it's that spray and pray approach, that spam approach, which is definitely not what we're about, that will get you into trouble with LinkedIn.
Okay, so the search facilities in Sales Nav are really important for your clients, and they need that extra piece of software to generate the leads that you're looking for. Okay.
Otherwise, you're just automating spam, and that's I'd rather not work with someone if that's what he wanted to do.
Okay.
In fact, I would work with somebody if that's what he wanted to do.
So those are the prerequisites then. Let's give you a quick break for a moment. Sarah, what's going on in the feed, Mrs. Moderator?
Lots going in, but actually you're doing really well, Phil, answering the questions that you haven't even seen. How good is that?
He's ahead of himself, isn't he?
It's not my first time.
James asked, what would you consider to be a minimum SSI score? And I think you said about 75.
Yeah, 65 is viewed as poor, so we like to get people to the early 70s as a bare minimum.
Yeah, okay. Brilliant. Okay, thanks, James.
Again, Kathy Heath says, do you need Sales Nav, or is it your own process using your own tech?
Yeah, so again, you can use a standard version of LinkedIn. If you're doing stuff manually and you've got that time in your day, you can actually use a free version of LinkedIn, although you are limited, I think, to 10 personalized invites per month with a free version of LinkedIn there. But yeah, for me, Sales Navigator, it's the only way to do it. You're able to create that very granular, very laser-focused approach, so you know that everyone will reach out to. You're going to be able to add value to them. They're going to want to speak to you. They're going to benefit from speaking to you, and that's where you're going to get those high acceptance rates as well.
Okay, thank you.
Brilliant. Laurie, when we were talking about using ChatGPT and AI to create content, it's much better output when you provide specific parameters, write in an employee engaging manner, include elements of our benefits. Don't take the first thing it spits out. You can tell it to refine directions, because I'm guessing that, you know, if people are just starting to use these functions, a little bit of guidance goes a long way.
Yeah, and that is 100% right. If you tell ChatGPT what it is, it needs to know what it is before it can go and do a job for you. So you tell it what it is, you tell it what you want, and then a really good tip as well is to say, if you have any questions before we start, so we get it right first time, please ask me. And then it will give you a list of questions it needs to know. You answer those questions, and then we create a very comprehensive output of what you're looking for.
Oh. That's a lovely tip, that. So you begin the whole process by asking ChatGPT, what questions would you need to be answered to answer this context more specifically?
So start by telling it what its job is. So you are the world's leading content writer for LinkedIn posts. Give it some bit of information, and then ask it to tell it to ask any questions it's got before it proceeds.
That's a really great tip. I've not tried that. What I tend to do with ChatGPT is give it some context. So I ask it for a solution for something, like, write me a title for something, and then I'll give it some context. And actually, that context is really important, because ChatGPT can then go away, match that, and then come back with some really good detail.
Yeah.
Okay, so but I love that refinement of questions. There you go, folks. There's a tip for you all. And look, if you've got any questions that are coming through, please ask them as we're going along as well. This is the time to ask questions, because we're right in the meat of things right now. Anything else, Sarah, that you want to pick up?
Kathy wants to know, so you use the AI for the content to get the engagement?
So there's two answers to that. Yes, I do, and no, I don't. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So, as I said, when I set the business up, beginning 2019, we officially formed. The AI wasn't good enough to create the content then. So I took the templates that I'd nurtured since 2008. Now, I've been using LinkedIn since 2008, and I've nurtured those templates. I've tried things when it's worked, I've tweaked it, it's worked less well, I've scaled it back, and it's just been trial and error, test and improve all the way through. And it continues to be so, ongoing. So test and improve in anything is an ongoing process. So we're very lucky, because we're based in North Wales. We got accepted onto the Welsh Government's Accelerator Programme, and part of that Accelerator Programme was access to some of the biggest universities in Wales, who took my message templates, and then they helped us improve them by injecting some very simple but very powerful neurolinguistic wording into those templates. So the reason I'm saying yes and no is that's how we started off, by using my templates that are proven to have worked, and we still use them now. However, with the benefits of AI, we're now able, especially within my platform as well, you're able to actually get it to create a workflow. So you can inject the profile persona of your audience. The AI will go out to your Sales Navigator account and get that data for people that match that profile. It will bring it back in. It will create a complex omni-channel workflow, LinkedIn and email, and it will also create the relevant templates in there. But again, as I said before, with anything with AI, go in and check the templates. I have a mixture of AI-created templates and my own ones as well that I know work really well. So there's a mixture of ones using the powerful linguistic wording we inject in there, and there's also a mixture of some of the AI-created ones as well.
So there's a combination of things that you're using, your experience, and you know what works, but also being guided by ChatGPT.
Yeah,
I love the way that you've. If I've got this right, it sounds like ChatGPT helps you on a number of levels here. First of all, to get the data that you're looking for through LinkedIn or whatever platform you're using, but LinkedIn Second Connections, I think you were using. Create the workflow, so you can ask ChatGPT to help you create a workflow that would work in that instance, I'm guessing. Design the templates, then do the outreach for you, and then I guess there's some sort of sexy part that you're then responding to those replies.
So again, 2 months ago, yes, so if somebody responded to a message, the default was it would stop sending a message out, because you didn't know whether that person would come back with something negative, something positive, or something neutral. Now, with ChatGPT, it does some sentiment analysis on the message that gone out, some sentiment analysis on the message that come back in, and then it creates the next logical message in that process. So again, the human person doesn't even have to step in at that point. The AI can carry on that conversation and get it to the point where they're ready to book a meeting. And again, then we tell them so they can book a meeting with you without actually speaking to you.
That is clever. Here we go. I think Kathy's just said this, Mrs. Moderator. Clever. We need to talk. There you go. Kathy runs a sales-based business, so I suspect that would be really useful for her. Anything else in the feed?
Yes. So John Attridge, I've seen people connect with me. I then answer and get an obvious AI response and it puts him off. Any tips if you are automating?
There we go.
Yeah, I would say it's horses for courses. So if you feel that the response going back isn't good, you've got two options. Again, I'll talk within what I do. You can have it automatically send the AI message back. You can click on a button that will create a message that the AI thinks is good, which you can then tweak it. Or, as we used to do in the olden days, 2 months ago, you can just jump in and have that conversation. It's all about using AI to start the conversation off, and then you can jump in at the relevant point and pick up with that conversation manually.
Okay. And is there a way that you kind of filter all those messages, or is that manual eyeballing? Because I'm presuming that once you do a campaign like this and it's starting to auto-generate, you've then got to keep on top of all the messages, Phil.
Yeah, so again, using this, you could use the AI sentiment analysis to give you that halfway house. So the sentiment analysis will decide what type of sentiment it is, and then you can jump in accordingly with the right type of message. If it's somebody coming back positive, you can have a quick look. You might be saying, brilliant, let's have a meeting as soon as we can, in which case you want to get that meeting in the diary and send them a meeting request over, or a calendar link, whatever it may be. If it's somebody's negative, you want to then have a look at it and just see what they're being, why it's negative. The thing with sales, especially within LinkedIn, there is a pre-populated message on LinkedIn where somebody can say, no thanks, I'm not interested. Now, having worked in sales 30 years and put myself in their position, what they're actually saying no thanks to is they haven't got time to speak to a salesperson. I'm a salesperson and I try and avoid sales conversations like the plague, so I don't welcome with open arms after a couple of messages on LinkedIn. And I have got a message that I send back to people that's ready to go, click a button, it sends it back, and it basically says that. But then it says, before we close the door in this conversation, here are 3 reasons why I think we should have a conversation. If any of this resonates with you, fantastic. Here's a link, let's have a conversation. If it doesn't, don't worry, I won't be darkening your doors anymore. I'm happy to step away. 70% of the time, that very simple message will unearth what their actual objection is. And it's usually, I'm just snowed under a project now, is it a possibility we can catch up in 3 months? So it didn't actually mean no thanks, it just meant I'm really busy, I haven't got time to talk. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
I've spoken to people before on LinkedIn who have told me that they say no thanks, I'm not interested to every single message that comes in. And it's not because they don't like AI, it's just they don't like lazy people. So if somebody doesn't have the gumption to follow up when somebody said no thanks, they don't deserve 30 minutes at a time. But I've had multiple meetings where that's been the case, and because I've followed up, they come back to me and say, right, now I know you're a human person, you're not just lazy, sat behind the computer doing nothing. Here's 30 minutes of my time, let's speak on Wednesday.
Wow, there speaks the salesperson, and that's all about sales experience, Phil. That's the thing that you've learned over 30 years from shop to sales, right? Yeah, love that. Yeah, so if you get a no thanks, then ask a little bit more and do what Phil's and reach out a little bit, and don't be pushy, but do it in the right way, and you can get a response. And you reckon you get 70% better response rate because
I guess just unearthing what the response is. If you know if you know the real reason is, then the salespeople are happy to step away. The biggest piece of advice, or the thing that sticks out for me most, is my very first sales training back in the Ginsters days, where I was told if I went, I'm going to choose fish and chips. It's a very English.
Who doesn't love fish and chips?
If you're having fish and chips in a restaurant and the waiter comes over and says, would you like salt and vinegar? If you say no, that doesn't ruin their day. They don't go home and say, that was the worst day ever, somebody said no to me. Exactly the same in sales. If somebody says no, and you ask them if you're sure, if they still say no, then walk away. There's other customers to go and serve and speak to. And there should be the same mentality for sales. Sales feels quite icky. So if somebody says no, I always push once more. If they still say no, then that's fine. There's 950 million people on LinkedIn for me to go and speak to. I'm not going to win every single one of them every single time.
Really interesting. Thank you. So yeah, that no isn't always a no. It's a no, not right now. And that persistence might mean in 3 months' time you have a call. I think that's really smart. Thank you. Just on smarts there, you talked about AI filtering your messages on LinkedIn. Is that a piece of software that you've developed, Phil, to be able to take those messages on LinkedIn and push them through an AI tool of some description? How does that work?
To a certain degree, yeah. I'm a humble salesperson, so I'm not a techie. I
Right.
know what I need to know to get through my working day.
Okay.
Yeah, I had some developed technology for us, and then we actually acquired the business in house.
Okay, so you run a bespoke piece of software that I'm guessing links in with LinkedIn. Sorry about that twist there, but links to LinkedIn, and then actually you can then start doing some clever stuff with it. Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct. Yeah.
Right. And how is LinkedIn because it's very sensitive to automated tools? How are you finding that software?
So there is no such thing as a verified, unwarranted LinkedIn automation platform, and I know there are people out there that claim to be, but it's a complete lie, and I will go on record saying that there is no such thing.
Yeah, I love it.
thing. However, we've got the closest thing that you've got. It doesn't scrape the data illegally from LinkedIn. It kind of piggybacks on some of LinkedIn developer APIs. So when changes get made in LinkedIn, because we're using developer APIs, we kind of know about those things first. So that's the key thing. We're in close contact with LinkedIn on a regular basis, so we know what the changes are going to be. And when LinkedIn make changes, I actually like it because not everybody like us has got a full-time dev resource that's constantly working on enhancing, ensuring the robustness, and creating new features within LinkedIn automation. So when new features or new security changes, even better, get made in LinkedIn, it gets rid a lot of the inferior competition, because pre-COVID, there was very few people doing LinkedIn automation. So in 2019, my peers were telling me, Phil, you've got it wrong. You've got to meet people face to face when you're doing sales to see the whites of their eyes. I wasn't put off by that because Amazon are the biggest sales company in the world, and they didn't.
What a brilliant response.
So I carried on. You then fast forward to the global pandemic, where the only way to network with people was LinkedIn, and the only way to meet people was in video meetings, similar to what we're doing now. So we saw our business during COVID spike because LinkedIn was the biggest networking site, and videos was what I was championing, because it was the biggest time sponge of my day, was traveling an hour away to a meeting, to have an hour meeting, to then travel, maybe if I was lucky, to get another meeting on the way back. The most I could do was 2 to 3 meetings. By doing this, I don't have to leave my office, and I can easily fit in 8 to 10 meetings a day.
How true is that? The world has changed, hasn't it? Really good. Yeah. Let's give you a break for a minute. Mrs. Moderator, anything you want to pick up in the feed?
Rebecca Jenkins talking about ChatGPT. She had a coder once told her to get cross with ChatGPT and say it's not high enough standard, or that it's not good enough.
Brilliant. That's why Rebecca's posts are so good, because she gets cross.
There you go.
And ChatGPT will apologise when you tell it that as well. It will apologise.
It will. Just a quick story. I wanted to find out. My mum died recently, and she was a professional artist, and I wanted to carry on her legacy. So I asked ChatGPT. I said, "Look, my mum's died. She was a professional artist. What do I call myself to carry on her business? Selling her prints." And the first thing he said was, "I'm really sorry to hear your mum had died." I thought, talk about empathy or what? And then he gave me a job title. And then from that job title, I asked it some questions like you did there, Phil. And it came out with a whole description of what I need to call myself, which then I used in my LinkedIn profile and I call myself an artistic executor. That came from ChatGPT. I mean, he's clever. Clever thing is our ChatGPT.
It is indeed. Going back on subject, Di Jones says, "I love the reaction to the word no. It's why I rarely send DMs. Maybe I will from now."
There you go. You've opened a door there, Phil, to Di's mind. Yeah.
I think the thing that strikes me is, and obviously because we're on LinkedIn as a platform, live streaming, so we're preaching to the converted here, but people still need to get their heads around, some of them, that LinkedIn is such a useful networking tool. It's, if you're going to use it to network, you really need to be interacting, posting. You need to be active on it, not just once in a blue moon and expect miracles.
Yeah, and that helps you improve your SSI score as well. What LinkedIn is looking for is people who create high quality, non-market sales and marketing content. It's educational. People are engaging with their LinkedIn posts, their network's LinkedIn posts. So you should be setting aside 5 minutes a day, and it's the one thing that we're all really bad at doing. Setting aside 5 minutes a day to share, comment, engage with your network's posts, and more importantly, not just your networks, but maybe some of the people you're looking to target. Because if you start engaging with their posts, they'll start seeing your name pop up, and if you then send them an invite or use the automation, they'll subconsciously recognise your name. The more chance they'll accept that invite, the more chance they'll want to have a conversation with you. It's all about using LinkedIn as a normal networking event. So you wouldn't just walk up to someone in a networking event and say, "Hi, my name's Phil," sales pitch. You actually get to know them, and that's what we try to do within our LinkedIn messages. We try not to pitch too early. We try to get a bit of conversation going and just subtly move it across to that sales conversation. So there's lots of things you can be doing in LinkedIn. You're quite right, just to build up that SSI score and build up that brand recognition of your own personal brand and your own name.
Yeah, and moving it off LinkedIn, that's where it becomes a conversation, Phil. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly, yeah. So the call to action within my messages is a link to Calendly. Other calendar solutions are available.
Got it, yeah.
I find that Calendly is the best solution out there. It's easier for you as a user. It's easier for the person if they need to make any changes. So yeah, but for me, that's how we do it. The call to action within the message eventually is, listen, been nice chatting to you and sharing your messages over for the last 4 weeks. Let's have a physical conversation and just see if we can do it together.
Yeah, let's have a calendar appointment for Teams or Zoom or something or other, or WhatsApp. Yeah, really like that. Anything you want to pick up, Sarah?
Just looking at what John Attridge has put on, his number one rule, really, pick up the phone. Trying to have a conversation over direct message. S is short for dummies. More than 2 messages is a conversation.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I would say the only pushback on that would be about building up that networking environment. Yeah, ideally, what you want to do is speak to people on the phone. You can have a 5-minute conversation on the phone, and both parties will know whether there's anything worth pursuing at the end of it. Whereas you're quite right, you could shoot out 100 messages on LinkedIn and still get nowhere.
But the key for you, going back a bit, then is those templates that you design to attract that sales conversation in the first place is key to having that conversation.
Yeah, it's all about educating the prospects so they know what it is you do, because people won't jump on a phone call without first knowing what you do and the value that you're going to add. So you need to do that education first, and that's what the message is designed for. Trying to very subtly educate people whilst at the same time trying to move into more of a physical conversation on the phone.
I love that. That's about all your AI is about subtly influencing that conversation to tell them what you do, do it succinctly, do it well, and that will then lead to a conversation if it's appropriate for them.
Yep, exactly.
Got it. Okay, brilliant. Wow. Some basic sales stuff here, but actually the sales tool and the automation of that, as Phil said, this is the key thing here, is that automation saves you a huge amount of time. And if it's well written and well done, it's still written by you, right? And you're getting to that, yes, I can have a conversation with you stage. That's what this is all about. That's what the AI does for you.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly that.
Brilliant. And you've developed other workflows as well for recruitment businesses and things. You meant recruitment a minute ago or half an hour ago, whatever it was, when you talked about that. Time flies.
So as I said before, I've had various different jobs working in sales. One of them, I was in recruitment for quite a long period of time. And we've actually set up a recruitment business as a spin-off from this. So we set up an old school headhunting business. So we don't have a plethora of CVs to peddle out to people randomly, or even as some unscrupulous recruitment companies used to do in the past, sending a fake CV out to get people excited and saying, well, that person's gone, but here's one that's like it. We work the other way around. So we've taken my sales process and just used it within LinkedIn, just like I used to do when I was recruiting for the likes of AstraZeneca. So a client will come to us and say, hi, Phil, we need a person of this caliber with this much experience in this area. We use the filters in LinkedIn to identify those people with the right skill sets. And then we use the AI and automation then to automatically reach out to those people and ask them if they're interested in a new job. If they are, they will send us their CV in, and then with a little bit of magic in the background, the AI will cross-reference that person's CV against a job description, and then come up with a percentage match, and then we can invite them in for first stage interview, and then if it's successful from there, they get put forward to a client. But again, the AI to do something that would have taken a human person, 20, 30 minutes to read through a CV, mentally make notes to make sure they're right for a job description, and then have them in for interview. It's all done in a matter of seconds, and all automated as well. CV comes in, automatic cross-reference AI, and then the automation sent back if they hit the right percentage. Yes, you've scored X. Click on the link, book a time in a diary for a telephone interview.
Brilliant. And scoring that X, that must be pretty hard. Is there any sort of feedback that goes back to that user to kind of say you need to improve your CV in these points at all? Is that some?
Yeah. So with the automated email, it goes back to them. We can tell them that you've scored a 70% match. The AI will then suggest if you make these changes to your CV, you'll get close to 100%, which will probably guarantee you an interview with a client.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Ask them to lie. AI is just saying if you elaborate on these parts here, it will give you a lot stronger position in the recruitment.
That's where this is becoming really powerful stuff, isn't it? It's helping both the person seeking the job and also the person wanting the position filled. Yeah. Really interesting. Wow. And look, I know that you're developing other AI processes. Where do you see the future of this going with sales and AI and winning more business, Phil? Where's the future going with this?
I said to a good friend of mine about a year ago that I genuinely believe that the ChatGPT is at the forefront of the AI. It's the one that everyone's heard of. It's the biggest brand out there.
Of course, yeah.
Everyone knows that a lot of people.
Well, even Apple are using it now, aren't they?
I believe so. Yeah. So I would say that it's the biggest change in industry, I would say, since the bloody steam engine.
It's that powerful. My God. Yeah. I've not heard someone say that before, actually. This is the biggest change since the steam engine, folks.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's more important than a mobile phone, because it can do anything. It can become anything. Just going back to the recruitment for a second, I can basically now recruit for pretty much any type of job, from a brain surgeon to a salesperson. I'm not saying I'm a salesperson, I'm allowed to say that. I'm not saying there's a big difference between the brain capacity in those people. But the AI can become a specialist. So again, I give it that instruction. You are the world's leading brain surgeon. I need you to find some other people that have got these skill sets that you have as well. And we'll go out and find those right people. There is no limit. I am involved in a property company. We recently put a pre-plan application in. There were forms within that pre-plan application that I didn't know what they were. A flood risk assessment, a couple of other ones in there. I had no idea what they were, but ChatGPT did.
Wow.
Not only did it create the documentation for this pre-plan application, but it was able to do it based on its knowledge of that local area. I've put in forms from the council about some of the rules and regulations towards planning and development, and it's come up with the best process for me, the most profitable process for me, based on the information it's got. I don't believe there is any limit to where the AI is going to go to. And it's not a bad thing. It's just evolution,
Evolution, baby. Yeah. And we can be Luddites and destroy those machines, or we need to embrace it, right? And I mean, there's all this talk about Armageddon and things like that. Any thoughts on that, Phil, very briefly?
It's a bit Terminator, isn't it?
Terminator, yeah, indeed. Matrix.
Yes, there does have to be certain control over AI. It's like any technology and like anything in life. There is going to be people who will try and abuse it for negativity, maybe even criminal activities. But again, that's the same in anything. The criminals with any technology are always trying to stay one step ahead. So
one step ahead. Yeah, got it. Okay. And Mrs. Moderator, quickly, anything you want to add to this before we move on?
Yeah, Simon Brooks says recruiting brain surgeons isn't that part Simon. Of the danger. AI is making people think they're experts in certain areas. I mean, what's to stop somebody basically using something like ChatGPT to pretend they are something they are not? How do the processes see through that?
So ChatGPT, from my knowledge of when it very first started looking at it, when it first came out a couple of years ago, is supposed to have parameters set in so you can't do anything illegal or naughty. Now, whether there's ways around that, I don't know. As I've said before, there's always ways around things. But it's supposed to have certain parameters set in so it can't be abused in that way. And obviously, the brain surgeon was only joking. I wasn't necessarily going to recruit a brain surgeon. But it can become a specialist in that area. And if it isn't now, then you can teach it to be, because you can ask it to go out and research websites. I've had it researching SEO on competitors' websites for me, so it can go out and do that research and build up its knowledge on that as well. And the more information you can give it, as I said before, I've injected council planning office documents into the platform, and it's understood them and then given me a concise output of what I need to do next in order to move through this compliantly.
Yeah. And it's still a human process, really, isn't it? So at the end of the day, someone's going to have to chat to that potential brain surgeon, and the interview process should be robust enough to be able to really drill down on any fake people, I'm hoping.
Whilst I wasn't going to rig about no issues recruiting brain surgeons, any brain surgeons out there looking for jobs or hospitals looking for brain surgeons?
Well done, Phil.
But all I'll be doing is first stage interview. I'll be asking some of the 5 key questions that the actual person from the hospital will be interviewing. And again,
yeah, and I think you're right. I mean, someone just put a final comment in there. Who's this, Sarah? Is this Kieran?
This is Laurie. She's in
Laurie,
the end.
Lovely.
Away pretending to be an expert. In my experience, people will smell me as pretty
absolutely quick. Yeah, there it is.
AI to make me an expert, but I never put anything in a proposal that I can't back up.
Spot on, Laurie. Spot on. Well said as well, and that's beautifully. Phil, we've just, gosh, what a canter we've had through this. What a brilliant session.
Just to pedal back on that, those property proposals I put in that I didn't know what the documents were. When AI created it for me and I read through it, I now know what those documents were. So now I understand it.
Exactly.
It gave me more knowledge.
It's exactly. It opened up the right process for you to answer the question appropriately. Yeah. Phil, what a fantastic session we've had. Let's just give you a quick round of applause there. Hooray! I love that confetti. You'll be clearing that up for ages, Phil, I tell you. Oh, dear. So, look, let's just quickly get to your call to action. So, look, if you want to get hold of Phil Herridge, his details will be in the feed in a moment, but the telephone number there, the Semper Paratus group email and website, semperparatus.group, www.semperparatus.group, and hello@semperparatus.group is the email. So you can contact Phil there. We'll also put the link in so that you can contact him via his Calendly appointment. Hopefully that'll come in the feed in a minute. And also, I came across this the other day. Oh, this is Phil's website for Semper Paratus. So you can visit that as well and glean more information from his website. It looks really informative. I love that website. And finally, we've got an ebook as well. I mean, is there no end to this man's talent here? We've lost Phil for a minute. I think his camera's clicked on to something else. But boost your SSI score. We've been talking about SSI score today. Phil's got a free PDF here that's available to anybody just with the right link, and the link hopefully will be in the feed in a minute. And I'm just cruising through some of it here about how the SSI works and what to do to improve it. And he's got heading tips and best practice tips and all sorts of things in there. Well worth a read. I couldn't wait to get it. I grabbed it the other day, and Phil, I thought it was a superb document. Thank you very much. I thought it was really well written, and I presume AI might have even helped you write it. I don't know.
Very dare you.
How dare I? How dare I? No, but there's some of Phil's really good expertise in there as well. So that's a little bit about Semper Paratus. Anything you want to say as well, Phil?
No, I think if the ebook, for example, it's a really good way to actually build your SSI score very easily and very quickly. And the SSI score, as I keep saying, it's very important because it allows you to do more within LinkedIn. Whether you use automation or not, it allows you to boost your LinkedIn profile and position yourself as a thought leader as well.
Yeah, I think it was really well put together, and I've always been an interested party on the SSI score from LinkedIn, and like it or love it, it's there. So, and it's a good guide. So, and there we go. And I've had good scores, and I think my score at the moment is about 70 something or other, mid 70s. So in your score, I'm not doing too bad, Phil, and I'm not doing too much on LinkedIn at the moment. So, but I've had it in the high 90s once. It's pretty hard to achieve that these days. I'm wondering.
It is.
Yeah, it's got smarter, that tool, hasn't it? So there we go. And a little bit about PDX Consulting. If his website comes up, here's my website. So if you want any coaching or help with your teams, I'm your man to help you inspire your people with the right keynotes for conferences, to shape your business in terms of leadership development and business culture development, help you build it, to do team development programs, and also to grow it via one-to-one coaching and executive coaching, and to help people to grow their mindsets to be the best people they can be through high performance teamwork. So there we go. That's a little bit about me, and we'll just come to Sarah very briefly about a call to action for Leaders Live.
Yeah, just a reminder, I thought today's session was mind-boggling, to be honest.
Yeah.
Really, really informative, definitely the way forward. We do love covering all sorts of different topics. If there's something you particularly would like covered, please get in touch with us. If there's somebody that you think, actually, I found today really interesting and I think they would, get them to listen to. Which one person did you invite this week, and who can you invite next week? We do want to expand the network, so please help us to do that.
Yeah, and Sarah's right. Look, we're offering this free because we believe in it. This is something that we do altruistically because we want to bring freedom and joy to the business experience, which is what we're trying to do here at Leaders Live. To give that breath of fresh air, on a Tuesday morning, because life's tough anyway. So, but if we can help you to lead well with savvy insights. That's what we're doing here, and we do it, absolutely, as I said, free of charge. What's not to like? So please subscribe to us as well on www.leaderslive.tv/subscribe, and or I think it's a / actually subscribe, and take it from there // I never know which way around. There you go. So next week, folks, we got another treat for you. We thought we couldn't top today's treat, but we've got somebody else who's really interesting. So transforming lives through Stuart Roberts, MBE, and his journey from chaos to control. Now, Stuart is a really humble guy who founded Haircuts for the Homeless, and that's a charity which has grown massively before the pandemic and after the pandemic as well. So we'll be talking to Stuart and those whole leadership tips and how we can get involved with charities, but also his lessons about going from chaos to control are really valuable for us all as leaders, and I think we'll be really inspired. So that's the goosh for next week. And just want to come back to today, Phil. I just want to say thank you so much for a fantastic session. You are so articulate and a consummate salesperson that just resonates really nicely with people. So I'm sure if you want to get in contact with Phil, you know how to do it now. There's all of his information in the feed. So there we go. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you for your time. It's been great talking to you.
Oh, it's been brilliant having you on the show. Thank you for being a hangout guest and giving us so much of your interesting information about selling on LinkedIn, which I think will be interesting for us all. So there you have it, folks. That's the end of the show, folks. And we're slightly ahead of time, which is amazing for us, actually. So we're just going to wave goodbye now on our outro and have a great week ahead of you. And God bless. And may God's love shine on you in your life, wherever you are. Ta-ra a bit. And we're going to wave goodbye to you now. Cheers for now, everybody. See you. See you again next week, folks. My hand just starts hurting after a bit after doing this waving. So there we are. Hope you took away some stuff from today and from Phil. And see you again next week for another awesome, groovy show. Thank you very much, folks. Cheers for now. Take care. Bye-bye.